I'm multi-streaming, so I'm also just getting my YouTube set up as well. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm going to be choosing either a page from my Magical Fairy Homes book or my garden gnomes. And I think as I was kind of setting up, I was like, I think I decided that I want to color this super cute gnome. So I think we're going to get started. I'm just trying to actually join my live on TikTok. I sorry, bear with me for 1 second. No, okay. Just join and run my other profiles. There we go. Let's take a minute. The only thing I have been trying to join my own live through my personal account, and everything online says, yeah, I should be able to join it, but for some reason it's not letting me. 'Cause I can't when it's way up here, I can't see because I have an overhead camera, I can't see if anyone's commenting. So, I'm actually gonna try again. Let me see here. Oh, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to, I think, start by picking a couple of colors or a theme to use on this one here. So I think, well, I do like having brown boots here. Color is happy. Actually, why don't I start with coloring skin first? That's probably the best. Mhm. Really should have I thought it was already over. I set up a new scratch pad. So for his skin, I am going to use A020 for his hands and his arms and his face. Oh dear, I forget to put my barrier sheet back. Oh, I usually do this before I start coloring. I use a page protector with a couple sheets of paper between. Okay, let's try that again. Those have such nice, big, strong hands. In the garden, and ears. One thing to remember if you're coloring with a barrier sheet underneath, such as the, a paper cutter, it will keep the ink, wet for a little bit longer. So, okay. Sorry, my husband just poked his head in to say hello. He just got home. I'm gonna try this one more time to get onto my, uh, live live. It won't let me find it. Hang on. Okay. Try one more time, then I'll get to coloring. That way at least I can see the comments. Okay, there we go. Hi, everyone. I was seeing your comments. I just joined as um, another user. This book is from Amazon. Show you guys. This is my Garden Gnomes coloring book, and I agree. It is nice to see. I don't mind the bold and easies, but I, I enjoy adult coloring, so I like the grayscale books. And also, you know, like, like something a little bit different. So I'm really loving this book. It's so cute. Give me a little tiny flip through before I color anymore. It's so cute. I got this from Amazon, and the links to everything is in the bio. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do his hat next, and I think he's gonna have maybe orange. I haven't done orange yet. Mm, let's do this by our son. Our son is here. color. What I'm gonna do for you guys is I'm gonna write out, it's like a little swatch for the YouTube viewers to be able to see which colors I've been using. These are Ohuhu markers. One is E020. E020. This is YR7. I'll show you TikTokers. I'm going to start doing that. And that way, when I want to use my colored pencils, I'll be able to kind of use the swatch as a little tester. Okay, so here we go with this patch. It's a nice recipe, kind of a pumpkin orange. I don't want to go too close to his eyebrows there, so I'm just going to feather in a tiny bit. I think with his orange hat, I think he should have a brownish colored beard. So next thing I'm going to do is beard. And I think I'm going to use E0. My husband just came to the door and we slid an envelope under the door. Okay, so let me swatch this out for you guys. This is beard. Oh, thank you, Emma and Faith. I forgot the other ear. And that's another reason to keep your colors out. That does happen time to time. That was my husband was distracting me, so I missed his other ear. You guys are on the ball. Thank you. I usually find these things as if I've forgotten an ear or an eyebrow or a flapper somewhere, I usually find them at the end. All right. This was the E22. Hi, Faith. I'm using the Ohuhu brush tip markers, and they do kind of bleed a little bit. They do bleed through the back. Let me show you here. They do bleed through the back. So you do need a protector sheet. So I just use a page protector from Dollarama, and then I throw a couple blank sheets of paper in between just to make it a little more opaque. So you don't see the other image coming through. And when you are coloring with the alcohol markers, just be really um, careful not to deposit too much around the sides. So you'll see here there is a little bit of it's kind of gone over the line a little bit. Doesn't bother me at all. But sometimes if it does happen, I will go over with a white acrylic marker or pen, gel pen afterwards, just to tidy it up a little bit. It bleeds, so you have to be careful. Always do a test. When you're coloring hair, I mean, you could just color this all one shade, but I really enjoy creating a shine, like his beard would be shining in this middle part, and it makes it more dimensional as well. So I'm just kind of flicking, I guess is the best way to say, flicking the pen towards the center and also following some of these strands of hair. And follow the shape of his beard. And this is where I tell you to trust the process because it kind of looks funny right now. But you just layer, layer, layer. So it does create some darker spots with the marker with your second layer, or you can use an additional color. I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes how I use my colored pencils to really make it look realistic. These markers are the Ohuhu brush tip markers. This set has the fine, sorry, has the fine as well, but I do prefer using the brush tip. And to prevent the bleed through, or going outside the lines, just really use a light touch when you're going close to the edge, if you remember, because I didn't up here. Usually I just go over things as I see what needs a little bit of a touch up or where I want it a little bit darker. The markers I got these from Amazon and they are the Ohuhu markers. I think this was the Honolulu set. Oh, sorry, the dog hair is everywhere. Um, this I believe is the Honolulu set. I can't remember. I got two or three, so I can't remember which ones these are from. Um, but I've got a link in my profile to all of my storefronts, and I've linked all the products that I use in there, including the books and the markers and the colored pencils that I'm going to be using today. So I think what I'm going to do is continue with this shirt. You're welcome, Tiffany. I'm going to continue with this shirt, and I think he's going to look pretty cute with a greenish, maybe blue color. So what about five? Let's do GY5. Where did I put it? GY5. There it is. So it looks incomplete at the moment, his beard, but trust me, when I'm doing my shading with my colored pencils, this will fill in a tiny bit. It will have some coloring from the colored pencils, but I'm gonna wait until I've kind of done the rest of his body. I'm not gonna do the flowers. Um, I'm gonna save the background for last. But I want to get kind of his looks like he's got a shirt and this little sling holding these flowers. So I'm gonna do his shirt and then I'm gonna do his boots and then I'm gonna shade just so you guys know what's happening. Okay, so this is going to be his shirt. This is GY5. And I guess I'll write up here somewhere. Maybe I'll write oh hoo hoo up there so you guys know what I'm using. We have a lots of markers. Except we picked up one that didn't work. Use this. The Sharpie to write oh hoo hoo. Oh hoo. How do you spell oh hoo hoo? H-U. There. And I do like the brush tip because you can get a lot of coverage with it, but you can also get really skinny, really tiny areas. So it makes it easier to color without having to switch back and forth. That's just my opinion. I enjoy them. The grayscale books are so much fun because if I didn't want to, I don't have to shade because the shading's done for you guys with these types of books. And it's also great at kind of learning how to shade. Oh, great. Third, and it's gonna have red boots. Um, let's use maybe E440. Thank you for the likes, everyone. These are the shoes. Never mind these. I'm gonna do this. I know that's ugly, actually. For the boots. E440. Oh, khaki. E440. Thank you, Tracy. I think this might be his pants. Maybe I'll just make them khaki too. 300. I think we need to print up another sheet because I just downloaded this from a website called Mystic Sparkle Wings, and I've used it to swatch out a few of my um, series, Hulu series. So I don't have all of them, but it's fun to have everything on one page instead of having to flip through a bunch of little cards. So I downloaded this. I think I need to do another one because some of the numbers are fading because I use it so much. I can't tell what they are. So I'm gonna use this for his little pants. This is B300. Oops, go in here. And I'm gonna use this actually for the bottom of the shoes. Soles of the shoes. I I don't know exactly how many markers I have, to be honest. Probably too many. I have some of Hoohoo. I also have some of the new Sharpie Creative markers, and I also have um, just some basic kind of ones I got from Amazon called Aptastar, and they're not bad, but they don't blend as well. They're really vibrant if you're doing something like a mandala. Um, but I do love the Ohuhus. They just blend so nicely. And all of these I got from Amazon. So anyone who's looking for um, any of the links to my supplies that I they're in my profile. Click, click the link for color.com and it'll take you to, I have three um, storefronts and it'll take you to, you can either check out I have Canadian, UK, and USA um, storefront. 3 storefronts. Okay, so I think I'm gonna get started with Freida's hat. So that's why it's handy to use a little swatch such as this, because I'm gonna go over with my colored pencils. So today I'm gonna be using the Amazon Basics. Usually what I do is a little test just to make sure it's gonna show up, and I just kind of tested it on the bottom. That looks like it's a perfect match, actually. So while I'm here, I'm gonna swatch out for the hat. So this is where I'm gonna do my shading. That looks a little bit too red. So let's try this one. A little too orange, but that might be the winner. Too light. Maybe I'll keep that up to do the highlights. That's better. I'll keep that one out, and maybe I will see if I've got another orangey color. Um, these are the standards. Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna use this one. All right. Put these ones aside for now. Although the markers and all of my supplies are available on Amazon, and you can check out my link in my profile. It'll take you right to my storefronts. Okay, let's start with his base. I'm gonna do a skin first, and I'm just gonna make sure these are nice and sharp. And really, it's not a lot that I'm gonna be adding, just a little bit where the shadows are. I'm adding a little bit of this color. And you can already see a difference where I've added a colored pencil and where I haven't. And it just adds a little bit of dimension. You don't have to use colored pencils when you're using alcohol markers for your coloring, or vice versa. You don't have to use, you can just use colored pencils if you like, but I like to use both coloring. Finding where there would be a shadow. If you create a little bit of shadow on the sides of his face, it makes his face look more three-dimensional. And I'm also going to show you guys how I highlight as well with colored pencil. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. Play around with it until you're happy. For the highlights, I'm just going to use white. This is Amazon Basics colored pencils that I'm using for some of these. And honestly, I love it. I love these Amazon colored pencils. And you just add a little bit of like a light pressure and add some layers. So go over the color times. Oh, I forgot to choose his arms. That's okay, still have it here. So you can tell the difference between his, his hands and his arms and his face. He's got this nice kind of flow and 3 dimension to his face. And you can go over a few lines until you get it how you like it. I'm gonna imagine that he's got more shading on the bottom sides of his hands and a little bit more of a highlight, like a long hair on the top of his thumb. Thank you, RB. Thanks for sticking around. This is a coloring book. I hope I made that clear that this is an actual coloring book. So the image itself is a digital image, but the coloring is all me. I don't want to sound too braggy. But thank you, RB. All right. So those are the two that I use. I'm going to keep those aside kind of, so I don't get them mixed up. I do his hat next. I do his hat next. Now I can't remember which of these three. I think that's what I use for the highlight. Let me start with this one first. And yes, I did go over the lines. Please don't judge me. Yeah, this was the one that was too yellow, I think. So I'm gonna put that one back here. And really lightly, yeah, this is a better color. Probably almost go with the brown for this, for the shade of this hat, if you wanted. Shading can be either a darker version of the current color, a charcoal gray or a dark gray, or depending on the color, like if it's a warmer color, then you can use a dark brown. The grayscale shows you where you need to shade. So sometimes I go in a little longer in some of the spots. I think I might go after I use this orange, I might actually go over a little bit of brown to make it a little deeper instead of so orangey. Just pull that color across, following the shading. And sometimes I like to go in behind, say this is a brim, so there would be a little bit of a shadow there. And then I'm going in with the brown. Just really lightly. Thank you for all the likes. I've made it to 1K already. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I was thinking about was on the other night on a live, and I think it was 3 hours. Today is not going to be so long. There, that looks a bit better. Oh, I'm so glad, RB. It does make it a lot more fun, and I do like using the alcohol markers to lay down the base because it's quicker and easier. And then I really love going over and shading with the colored pencils. It just allows you to kind of do a bit more than you would just with the markers. Okay, now here I'm using this blending stump, it's called. They come in a bunch of different sizes, and these are great for colored pencils. You're using pastels, and I actually have to make sure I just kind of smudge a little bit around there. But when you're coloring, that you're using a clean portion. So what they say to do is to take out a little brown piece. I don't know where I got this from, but it's a piece of sandpaper, and you just kind of sharpen it with the sandpaper. I'm imagining that you could use like a nail file if you don't have anything else, like kind of dedicated to this. A little messy. And then you just go over, oh, what's going to highlight? What am I highlight first before I start blending? So watch this. This is where the magic happens. The blending really, or sorry, the highlighting and shading really just changes the whole, changes what makes it look like fabric. And you just add a little bit where highlight would be. On top of the shadows, above the shadows. Doesn't have to be precise. Okay, now I take my blender and just really lightly, it just kind of helps to blend all the colors together. Make it look not so harsh. And while I've got it out, I will go over a little bit I did on his face. Just kind of evens out the tone a bit, so the darks aren't as dark and the lights aren't as light. You still get that depth. No, we're gonna do his beard. This is the fun part. Sorry, I'm gonna move these. I might actually keep the yellow out for kind of a little bit of highlight on his beard. So I like to use flicking motion again. It's very similar to what you did with the marker. And just use light touch, or if you want Barrett to use, you know, a light and then harder, or just layer it up and pull a little bit of that color into the white part that you've left. Or if you had put down a lighter color as a solid in the background and then the kind of strokes over top, this would cover that bottom layer. And I do like to add a little bit of a darker pressure, or sorry, harder pressure to create a darker shade in some spots to make his beard look three-dimensional. It just brings all the hair kind of up in a little clump there. And again, I'm following the all of the hair. And really lightly just go over this area, right? You can even leave some of it um, uncolored if you like. To sharpen this. I was using an electric sharpener, but I've found this is Stadler hand sharpener, and it is far superior, and I find it's less wasteful. I did the ends to be a tiny bit darker, so I'm just going over this a little bit more before I do his mustache. And it does look kind of streaky and unpolished right now, but do not fear. We are going to be going over with the blending tool. So under his nose is going to be a little darker, so I go over it a couple of times. The top, not as dark. And again, I kind of flick the top into the middle and then the bottom also into the middle. This angle's a little wonky for me, sorry. Okay, so that was one of my color pencils in brown. Thank you for all the likes, everyone. I really appreciate it. I'm just looking at my camera up here and I'm seeing some parts fly up there. Thank you so much. I think I was gonna add a tiny bit of blonde, just a tiny, tiny bit of yellow to his mustache and maybe to his beard. Literally just a few strokes, just to make it not so brown, I guess. Back to my blending tool. Well, you'll see a difference once you start blending. It melts all the colors together. He's looking super cute already. And again, I do like to go over with a little bit of white in some spots, just for a little fun. So for anyone just joining, you can get the books and supplies are all linked to my Amazon storefront. Link is in my bio, and I've got 3 storefronts. I have UK, I have Canada, and US. So hopefully that makes it easier for shopping for everybody. Okay, I think he's looking super cute. So why don't I show you guys what I do before I go too much further. I'm gonna show you what I do when I mess up. So you can see I've kinda gone over the edges here. Sometimes they bleed over. That's the reality of using alcohol markers. I'm just gonna use my Sharpie Creative marker in white, and I'm gonna just kind of tidy it up where I've gone over the edge. It's not gonna be perfect, but good enough. Hi, Ray. Just tidies it up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but whatever you like. Oh oh my gosh, it just gave me one of those. Please do the puzzle face. Am I still going? I'm still going. Okay, good. Sorry, guys. Focus. I hate that thing because I'm not looking at my screen, so I don't always see it pop up. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up, and let's start with the greeny gray color, maybe. Maybe, light brown with this one. Oh my gosh, hi spicy. I love mixing ingredients too. It just makes it so much more fun. Oh, that's very dark. I don't want to use that. It's too dark. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my trusty art here. What about YG080? Where is that? Where is yellow gray? I should know where everything is by now, but so I'm just gonna add a little bit around his shoes, and sometimes I like to take it up a tiny bit because the brown would kind of come up here. So I'm just, it looks so messy and loosey goosey, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go over with a green. It's a little too light. Make it look like patches of grass. I kind of mix this together since it's already still wet. The alcohol marker, the ink. Sometimes this too. cool. Freckles. Okay. Let that dry. These look like they're gonna be orange. I'm gonna do a bright orange there. That's good. These will be fun to shade. They call them chokeberries. Can't remember what the orange ones are. This one is right out uh, the soil. Um, oh, what about the flowers here? Should they be like yellow maybe? And then this should be blue or opposite. Maybe these blue and then maybe yellow up here. That's what I'm gonna do. This can be blue. Maybe a nice light blue. Mm, pretty pretty. All my all my coloring supplies are piling up to one side. So I'm gonna do these flowers in a blue, nice turquoise, horizon green. Might leave the tops of these a little light and do some shading with those. This one is gonna be blue here, and then I'll do yellow at the top. So I will use which yellow? Maybe this G5. Oh, that's a good one. Mm, that's exactly what I used for something else, so never mind. The GY5 is a little too close to, or sorry, this one is a little close to the GY5. So let's try this one. Much better. Okay. For the yellow, oh, four, oh, I can't even read what that says. My other glasses. So for a couple of these other flowers that I colored, just gonna overlap some of that yellow into the blue. And then on this side, pull some streaks down so it doesn't look. Maybe this one has some too. Okay, green. I love using this. Are these 7-3 or 7-2? Let's see which one I want to use. These are both great colors. Yeah, I'll use both of these actually. So this one is the GY 172, and this one is GY 173. Let's start with the 172. And this is where I just go over anywhere there's going to be green coming through. Maybe on the base of green. That's weird. I love using brush tip markers. If you've seen me before, you know I like to use them because I can have so much fun with them. They make me feel like I'm an artist. I'm not. But anywhere there's going to be some of this green or leaves or grass, I'm just coloring with this green color. I think the tips of some of these. Um, and color with this green and fill in with a little bit of that original yellow. That always creates a nice fun combination. Okay. And some of that yellow and some spots on this leaf. Sorry, the leaves for this flower here. Oops. See one over again. So just the center here and this little part. So actually I'm not going to use that 173. It's a little too yellow for what I want. So I'm going to use this one. Why don't I just use my sheet? 140, maybe 190 would be good. I'm just going to use this in spots. I'm not using it over the whole thing. Just to add some green, brighter green highlights. over some stuff. This one has a chisel tip, so it's a square tip and also has a brush tip at the other end. These are the Ohuhu markers. I very rarely use the chisel tip. I always use the brush tip, but that's me again. That's just my preference. Maybe I'll go to the reverse, what we did down below on the things. Okay, a little bit of green on top of the yellow. Just a tiny bit. Okay, now I'm going to do some shading. Blue. I got the blue here. That's purple. I think that's blue. So I'm going to start with the flowers, and then I'm going to do the cute little bees. I'm going to start with those. This will be fun to do. Not that the flowers won't be fun. It's a little bit darker. Okay. Hi, Cass. Thank you so much. So now I'm just going over the alcohol markers with the colored pencils and adding a tiny bit of shading, and you can see a difference already. I'm hardly adding any of the colored pencil, just a tiny bit. I need to find a white, or maybe I'll use yellow for this. Yeah, the little yellow highlight around the top. Okay, number two. I think this is what I'm going to do. Again, really lightly. You don't need a lot. And I try and use a color that is really close, a little bit darker than what we're using for the alcohol marker base. But you can actually mix colors. If you wanted to do yellow in the middle or a purple in the middle, that would also look really cool. So you can have fun playing around with colors. I love coloring fantasy books because you can do whatever you want. Actually, you can do whatever you want in any coloring book. So I'm just gonna follow where the shadows more to the center. Find other petals. And this one's gonna have some too, I think. Now, that's a trusty old light. Where did that go? Buried. Thank you guys. I'm almost at 2K. That's amazing. Now, just going over with the white. This is spots. These are the Amazon Basics colored pencils, and they're great for the price point. I'm so happy with them. And to be honest, the white colored pencil is the best white that I've used. And I've tried probably 5 or 6 different brands. But this one deposits the most opaque white that I've seen so far. I'm just gonna go open up here. Sorry, I think I'm covering most of the image there. Try not to do that, but can't always. Oh, I need to put any shading or anything in his jacket or his shirt, I mean. This little sling here for his boots. So you can always save that. If you want to do your shading and stuff at the end, you can always just do it at the end once you've colored everything. Shade a little bit. I'm going to use the brown on his sweater as well, or his shirt, I mean. And sometimes maybe I'll use a gray. I might have gray here somewhere. I have a tiny bit of shadow under his boots. And some of the bottom here. Definitely don't need to do this kind of stuff, but just add it for me, it adds a little bit. And where else did I say I was gonna do? I think I said I was gonna do this shirt. Oh, I'm using the gray. Okay, that's fine. So if you are using, oh, I forgot some leaves here. Thankfully, got all my colors still out. Unfortunately, they start taking up a bunch of room on my desk. Or maybe I'll add this green here and there using the gray. So if you are using a brown or a gray or black to do your shading, the colored pencils just really, really, really light hand. I always kind of use teeny tiny circles, and that just helps to not make it so dark. You don't want a black line, but you want a shadow. Sammy and mine here. I'm just kind of extending some of the shadows that are existing in the image. The grayscale kind of makes these shadows for you, which is great. You don't even need to shade or highlight if you don't want to. With these books, with any grayscale books, the adult coloring books, um, they do provide a little bit of a different coloring experience because I don't know, I think it just gives you a little bit more creative freedom and that or not freedom, but it does give you a little bit of creative process to learn, I guess. I do like the bold and easy. Thank you, Sandra. So I think almost finished this page, although I was going to where's my blender? There it is. So now I'm gonna go over everything. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll add some shading with green. Let's find a nice dark green. This might be good. That's good. So I know I went over everything with a um, the green marker, but I do go over sometimes some of the other shadowy parts, maybe under here, create some shadows with the colored pencil. Not necessary again, but fun to do. That doesn't need more here, it's over here. There we go. But I sometimes talk to myself. I guess it's good because I'm talking to you, so I'm actually not talking to myself. All right, I think this is good. Thank you, Tracy. I'm taking my blender and just softening up all the lines of the colored pencil. Usually I'll kind of stay within the image, like do one thing at a time, but you can also, I just want to show you guys how you can also just smudge everything all at once. And it just softens it up. Well, guys, and almost an hour and a half. I thank you so much for coming today. Let me show you the book. I think he turned out so cute. I love his little beard. And I like the orange hat. I've done a couple of images already, but I haven't done an orange hat, I don't think. It's so cute. So I might come back on later tonight actually and do another page. I was gonna do my fairy homes book, which is also fun, but I do love the gnomes. So this is the garden gnomes, and this is the fairy homes. So I was gonna do a page out of this book, which I might still do. And so was the one I did the other day for Ashley. Ashley sent me a bunch of gifts, so I dedicated this one to her. But this would be fun too. But I think it's gonna be this one tonight. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming out. I got to 2,100 likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so, so much. We'll see you later, guys. Bye bye.